So, hello and welcome to the New Gig podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Hodgson, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Lara Borenovic. How are you doing, Lara?
Hey, Glenn, I'm so excited about this, and I'm very excited about the topics that we are going to discuss. And yeah, I'm very well. Thank you for inviting me.
Excellent. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Hear a little bit about yourself, the journey that you're on, and what's keeping you busy at the moment, then, Lara.
Just don't ask me where I'm from. When people ask me where I'm from, I get really confused, and I believe that this initial path of my life actually shaped what I'm doing right now. So I was born in Croatia and I lived my childhood there up to 11, 12 years. And then I moved to Serbia
Yeah.
and I finished my school there, university, I get married and I born my kids. And then I moved to Spain. And now when I live in Spain, I see my life here for a longer period of my of time. I also somehow always split it myself in two ways. I was a musician for a long time. I played violin and
Excellent.
performed as a solo voice opera singer. And I also
Wow.
finished University of Technology. So I finished a master on telecommunications. So I have this splitted personality, not just by the countries I live, but also by who I am internally.
Yeah.
And so we found ourselves in Spain. I was working before in a big international companies like sales engineer. And then at some point, with my kids, living in a society that I wanted to show them, I don't know, like when you have kids, you always preach a lot. You always say, do this way, do this way. But I think the best way to teach your kids is actually showing them by example. And I
Exactly.
always telling my kids, be free, be bold, let's do this. And then it was time for me to show how this type of life is lived. So we pack our stuff in the car, Glenn, really. And I have this obsession of my husband that he's saying, we always need to travel clean, so nothing should be in the interior of the car. So we packed really lightly, also just 2 suitcases. And we drove for 3,000 kilometers. We never visit Valencia before we
Wow.
moved here. We picked some random flat here, and 4 years later, here I am in Spain. And I'm talking. I maybe this is a little bit long story, but I just wanted to drive you what happened in the moment that I get into the
Mm,
Spain. So much problems, like really a lot of problems, because first of all, I expected that people in Valencia will speak English, which was not the truth. 4 years ago, before this, I think that now Valencia is a little bit changed in a sense of geographic, in a sense
mm.
of the people who are living here. So it's a little bit more open towards the foreigners. But at that moment, actually nobody spoke English. And I came here and I got a lot of troubles, like which school to enroll kids,
Of course.
administration, and also the work, how we are going to work here, like what is how we are going to set up this.
Mm.
And at this moment I said, okay, maybe I should go into helping people relocate because I experienced those problems, I experienced those issues. But then I found myself, okay, there is a bigger thing. There is this remote vibe that is happening all around us. So
Yeah.
this is a place where I want to be, and this is what I worked for the past 4 years.
Excellent. So helping digital nomads or just individuals who want a different way of life to be able to settle and cover the basics. Because I think with a lot of these things, they say that success is 5% inspiration, 95% perspiration. But I think there's the logistics, just making things happen is so important to any of these kind of decisions, the sort of the
Yeah,
basic stuff. As you say, which schools, how do I get broadband
yeah,
connection? How do I get an account so I can sort of pay my electricity bills? All these kind
yeah.
of things that are just so basic but so essential.
Yeah, exactly. And I was feeling at that moment that many people were actually struggling with that and nobody was
Yeah.
addressing that. And this was the reason why I entered the industry. And I found that industry to still be very inspiring, and it's and very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was this kind of the tipping point? When did you decide, right, I'm just gonna get in the car and drive? Was there a specific point? Because there's a lot of people who have these kind of thoughts and these dreams, Lara, but they never do anything about it. They can talk about it and they can put it off a week, a month, a year, 10 years, but nothing happens. So what was the kind of the push that made you realize, right, I'm just gonna do this?
I think I remember actually that I was talking. First of all, I wanted to go to New Zealand at some point.
Okay.
Like when a lot of things happen in your life, you just want to go as far as possible you can. And
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, the New Zealand was like far enough. But
Yes.
there were some problems with how you get to New Zealand, especially after COVID. And I
Yeah.
remember that my friends were laughing at me all the time because I was talking about that a lot. They never believed that I'm going to do that. And on the 1st of May in 2021, I just left and they were like, "You're really going?" I said, "Yes, bye." So the tipping point was, I think, the COVID changed us all. We
It
don't
did.
want to admit it, but it changed the society completely. And I also woke up every morning driving my kids to school. And there is this big problem with air pollution in Serbia.
Okay.
The air is really contaminated and it's not good for my kids. And I was driving my kids to school and or like, walking towards the school, and I said, am I really going to do this? Am I just this kind of person who has this opportunity to make
Yeah.
it better and I'm not doing that? I think that this was the biggest trigger for me to say, okay, it's enough. Now we go. And we left.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the trigger.
And the rest is history, Lara. And
Uh,
and
yeah.
you're up in business helping people with these kind of activities. Do you see that
Yeah.
there is a sort of a change since COVID that people want more out of life? They want more flexibility. They want to work more remotely, not be stuck in a specific place. So you're catering to a demand that is increasing all the time.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's a Japanese saying, uh, give people something and then take it away. I think that, and then you will see the suffering and the
Yes.
pain. I don't know
Yeah.
just how the wordings goes, but um, we were stuck, and I was stuck. Like I can only talk by through my example, and
Yeah.
I saw myself in a situation. I had a babysitter for my kids. I had a grandparents jumping in. My day was like I was getting up at 6
Yeah.
and then preparing for school and driving for 1 hour after that towards my work and then working up to 6 p.m. and then rushing back home 7 p.m. Then let's eat something. Let's, the pressure of quality time with kids, like
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
pushing you, okay, I need to have some quality time with my kids. And then nothing, and then you go to bed, and then COVID happened, and we were also afraid of everything, but somehow we survived as
We did survive.
like a
Yes.
species, yeah. And
Yeah.
we learned freedom, and I learned freedom, and I learned, okay, my life can be better. I still deliver outcome, I still deliver value, but I have also something for myself. I don't rush in the morning. My kids are more happy. I have more time for them. I prioritize health. I prioritize good food. I prioritize cooking. I prioritize some other things. And I think that in that sense, we're completely changed. And I'm completely changed. And we gave freedom to the people to live. I think it's, for me, it's as industrial revolution 200 years ago. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
complete revolution of our lives in the sense of how we're working. And this is really amazing. And because of that, I don't know what side you're taking here, but I still don't understand the hybrid moment
Okay.
which is happening right now,
Mm.
because like this is not going to land well with probably your audience. But I think the
Say it.
hybrid is bringing the worst of both. So for me, like
Okay. Let's unpack
hybrid
that. Say a
is,
little bit more
yeah,
about
yeah, it's
hybrid being the
just
worst.
very bad. It's just very bad. So we learned what we have while working remote. Yeah, we learn how we can still be efficient, and then we learn how we can get to the people with diversity. Like we don't limit ourselves anymore in the geography, but
Mm,
now we are saying, um, we are going to bring you back in the office 3 days a week, or we are going to demand that you come once per week into to the office. So we build these relationships. Yeah, I
okay.
believe that building a relationship is important, but it should not be done in a hybrid setup. I think that we should focus more on developing, managing people remotely, and invest in people
Yeah.
to focus on outcome, to focus on how to give trust, and to focus on not fixing that and resolving those problems in the office.
Mm,
Either you say, okay, I will invest and put these people remote, invest on how we can make it possible, or if this works for us, let's do it in the office because we don't know the other way. But like this, okay, so we are not there, we are not there, and let's just limit our possibilities, and for the sake of seniority, we'll still give some 2 days off, because companies are afraid that the biggest and the senior talents will actually leave if the possibility of remote work is not there at all. So this is like, for me, not the best mixture of what is happening right now. I believe it's a phase and it will pass. So let's see.
yeah. So it's going to be away from roles, presenteeism, offices, and much more on the value that individuals can deliver to
Exactly.
companies and organizations.
Yes, exactly. This is something that you need to build on. This is something that how you're managing your people, how much trust you give to people, how you hire, of
Yeah.
course, at the beginning, because this is also like who are the people that are surrounding you. So I think it's quite important. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, usually, if you actually sort of bring together the right teams with the right people with the right skills, then you'll be able to sort that. I think sort of getting the wrong people in place will always be wrong, whether it's office, hybrid, fully remote. That's going to be more the issue than the actual form of work that's being taken, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's for sure true. Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about the issue of personal branding, because of course, if you're remote, you still need to get yourself a presence. You need to build your profile. You need to be able to articulate, but also show to the marketplace what you're able to do and what value you can create. So, how do you go about doing that then, Lara?
I started working on my personal brand, I think it was 2 years, maybe 1 year and a half.
Yeah.
And before that, I always rejected personal branding. I thought this is not my thing, and
Okay.
this is just for people who wants to show off and very shallow, and they just praise themselves online and talking how good they are. It's something, and
Yeah.
actually, the people who are working, they're working and they don't have time for social media. That was my very strict opinion about the topic.
Okay.
But I changed my mind, and I think that it's okay for people to change their mind, because that means they evolve. Yeah. So
Well, when
I
the
was
facts change, you've got to change. If not, only the most clever people and the most stupid people never change their minds, Lara.
yeah. Okay. That's a good one. I will start looking at what other people are doing in my industry and say, okay, they have a lot of visibility. They talk a lot about specific topic. For sure, they know something. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
they're knowledgeable. And I believe that visibility and posting, and for me, I still talk only about LinkedIn, because for me, that's the only platform I know and I'm familiar with
Yep.
for business. So they talk about, they have visibility, so they create credibility, like with that. So that this, when you create credibility, Glenn, you create very quickly, I think, trust in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And trust, when you build trust, that is the most necessary, I think, thing in building business. So when
Yeah.
people, or selling stuff, yeah, so when people trust you, they want to do and work with you, they want to do business with you and work with you. And so from online sharing, from talking about specific topics, towards credibility, toward trust, you actually make your business much easier. And this is, I think, reflected to all businesses that are done online, yeah, like on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And I noticed that, and I said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to, and it's not an easy work. It's not something you just go. You need to find what is your niche,
Mm.
and you need to be genuine. And I know with the rise of AI that is coming, and it's more and more reflected towards how do people present themselves online. I
Yes.
still don't believe that's the right way. I think you need to be authentic for building your
Yeah.
personal brand, and really care about what are you talking about. So I opened two accounts. I have two accounts. I have my personal brand under my name, where I'm building, and I want to just talk there about sales,
Yeah.
and we'd really focus on how to train young people and young force that is entering sales, because I believe they are completely lost. And when I open LinkedIn, my only idea is, okay, how can I help them so they have one good tip for this day so they can survive this
Yeah. Yeah.
industry. And the second thing is global hiring for dummies. It's my new page. Is actually talking about global hiring trends, and demystifying all those vendors out there that everybody actually are aware but don't know what they do. So I'm talking about those two things online. And I believe that building a personal brand is very important for businesses, and it's going
Yeah.
to be more important in the future, because with the trust, the business will be much easier to
Yeah.
be done. Specifically, if you I just to add this, for if you think about outbound, yeah, and Glenn, when you are pitched by some SDR or BDR, who are you going to pick up that phone with the person who you already know and saw, and who are you going to listen,
Completely.
or with a completely a stranger? Yeah, so that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
also very important.
absolutely. And it's amazing. And I sometimes talk about this as well, Lara, the fact that when I've engaged with someone online, or we've had discussions, or I've looked at their contact, it almost feels like I know them in a strange way before
Yeah,
we even sort of speak and we sort of talk about projects or
yeah,
collaborations, activities,
yeah,
because I feel like yeah, I kind of understand where this person's coming from. I get the content, I see what the focus is, and it builds up that kind of trust that you're talking about almost instantly in terms of the context before you even engage in a sort of a physical sense. So that's
yeah, exactly.
that's so powerful. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
I
good.
agree. Yeah.
That's good in that sense. And Laura, when you're talking about this lifestyle as well, you've had sort of 4 years to be able to give a bit of a feedback on what's been the best and what's been the worst as well, in terms of this lifestyle and this work style.
You mean remote, or you mean starting by yourself?
I think both actually. I think both are
Okay.
really interesting. Yeah.
Um, I cannot really imagine myself going back into the old lifestyle.
Okay.
I love meeting people, and I love meeting with my team, and I like seeing them, but not on a regular basis. No, no, I just don't.
Yeah.
um, about freelancing, about starting your own business, I was thinking about that deeply before this session. And
Mm,
people will always say, "Don't go into the business if you don't know your ICP, if you don't know who are you going to pitch towards, if you don't know what is your product specifically resolving." But I think there is a one more thing that is much more important than what your product is going to resolve. That's how you're built, how you're built as a person, and what are
completely.
your strengths and weaknesses as a person in a business. That is not going to be easy. And if you don't know that, don't do that, because you really know your limits and strengths.
Yeah.
Um, when you start working alone, as I did in the last couple of months, I'm quite new in this. I figure out, first of all, my trigger was I really have this feeling. I think I was 7 years old when imagining myself as an independent, very powerful woman that
Okay.
will do the things my way. And I
Okay.
was working in a big environment, and I know I had this vibe that I'm something special and I can do everything by myself. And this never disappeared. So this was also the trigger after all this work that I have in international, smaller companies, that I want to bet on myself. But also, when I entered this, you need to be aware that this work is not 9 to 5. This work is complete obsession, and this is the first thing. For example, you want to get obsessed with your weight. You care about that. You're obsessed with it. You don't need. You want to be good looking. You need to be obsessed of how much you exercise. You want to be
Yeah.
good at business. You really need to be obsessed with that. And I think that if you want to be freelancer or start your own company, you need to be obsessed with that. For me, I don't know what balance is. I know that many people are saying you need to have balance. I don't understand that. What means that? For
Mm.
me, if I'm into something, I get lost. I can work for, I don't know, 7 hours nonstop, not even getting up from the computer. I get dizzy, but I'm happy. So, still, if you think that the work is going to be very predictable next month and that your expectation of how much money you're going to earn, specifically in the early stages, that's not going to happen. So you need to be okay with that.
Definitely.
That you don't
Yeah.
know what will happen. And you need to be okay. There is no marketing team support you. There is no, um, like I will give this task to some other person. That doesn't exist as well. So you need to
No.
own it and
Yes.
be okay if you fail. So I think that if you, before you start the journey of your solo business owner, freelancer, you need to be okay to fail and
Yep.
look at that failure is like, I don't care. I failed, I learned, I moved. I don't care. This door's closed. Okay, I will open the other one. And this mentality is very important.
Mm.
For me, it did change. I believe that I have just few core values. That is first my health, then my family, then work, and then meaning. And it's not actually a straight line. It's just very connected. And with all
Mm.
that, you start creating as a independent business owner, yeah, freelancer.
And I think it's interesting what you say there, that a lot of people are actually saying this, that it's no longer the traditional mentality of work-life balance that people were striving for. It's
Mm,
enjoying what you do, find something you're
mm,
passionate about, and having work-life integration is almost the way of viewing this. It's a different mindset and a different achievement. And then I think normally, I think it's also a change in terms of what is a job. People think this
mm,
is something to be endured, sort of this dull, dour activity that you have to do, and
mm,
then you can enjoy yourself. Whereas,
mm.
people like yourself are much more into that. I want to enjoy myself every day and get paid for it. I don't want to just put this off and maybe when I'm retired, I'll be able to do what I want and enjoy myself. It's a completely different mindset and a shift that we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, you're right. For me, it's just not only about enjoyment. I have this very ambition DNA thing that I want to be the best. So it's not only to be enjoying and finding this new lifestyle. It's just of cracking everything and not limiting myself how others tell
Yeah,
me that things needs to be done or the way I need to live my life. At the end, Glenn, we have only one life, and I want
we
to
do.
live it fully the way I want. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is this is my wife.
I love the approach. And from the sort of the corporate side, companies and organizations, are they are they getting it yet? Is it a sliding scale? Is it a spectrum of
It's so
adaptability? Because
exciting, Glenn. Like the revolution of work is, we need to appreciate this moment. Glenn,
yeah,
we need to appreciate this moment. We are like the little, peons, pioneers in this, what is happening, the complete revolution of work with AI. And it's going to be so amazing.
yeah,
And majority of the companies are not aware of it. Tech companies, they have like a little like little idea what is going to happen, but the old school industries, the smaller companies in third world countries, the smaller companies, even in Europe, are completely unaware of the possibilities of
Yeah.
what is developed by up to now and how the companies will roll out. So I feel very humble when I talk about AI. Like when the AI was first introduced, I said, this is a help from and hand from God to me. Like I was like, I had so much issues with productivity, with reporting, with data analytics, and
Yeah.
then just somebody gave me that for free, and I said, "This is amazing." And now, when I talk about it, I see it in amazing potential for education, for health, for I don't know, researchers. I don't know. It's going to
Really.
be whatever it's going to be, but I'm very excited. The
Good.
companies will be completely restructured, in my opinion. So I think that with the support of AI, even the freelancers, when I said you're alone, you're not completely alone when you're a freelancer. Now you have your best buddy standing there, and that's AI, who is actually giving you hand through so many apps and agents that you have available. I was reading recently that two guys from States, I think just two of them, made a revenue of 20 millions in 6 months with just AI agents and two of them. So I
Wow.
believe that with the use of AI agents within sales or development, I know some of them, but companies will shrink in the number of people. It
They'll
doesn't
need.
mean that
Yeah.
I think that companies will shrink, that companies of 15 people will be more than enough. The majority of things will be outsourced, which is also fine. You will just focus on what is your niche, and then the communication will be better. But the new jobs with AI will also develop. So it's not like we are not going to be necessary for this world. Of course we are. We are just going to have some other roles, some other jobs that are going to be introduced in the very close future. And I think in 2 years this talk will be very old school. It's going to be like we didn't know nothing. So
Yeah.
let's see. Super exciting.
Yeah, I think that the possibilities are endless, and I really
Yeah.
do agree with you that we can do so much more with
Yeah.
very little in terms of individuals, and having and utilizing the technology that's there is going to be a fantastic benefit. But as you say there, Lara, people need to know how to use it. They need to be able to
Yeah.
experiment. They need to be able to think about how can I tailor it to my goals and objectives. But
Exactly.
the potential is there, and people need to
Yeah.
grab it with both hands.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see what will come. I'm super excited about it.
Well,
Super excited.
let's see what comes out of
Yeah,
this as well.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think it's going to be an amazing journey, and it allows people like you and I to be able to benefit of the now of work as well as into the future, which is a
yeah,
fantastic element for all of us, I think.
yeah. True that. True that.
Excellent. Well, Lara, it's an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Really look forward to following the onward journey here and
Yeah,
really be able to come back and give us a few of the signposts and a few of the learnings as we
yeah.
continue down this road.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I love this topic. And as you can see, I get quite emotional and
It's
passionate
good.
about some things. Thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Lara.